What's up guys, Excalibur here and welcome back to Star Ocean Anamnesis. So today I've got another episode of my beginner's guide for you, and this time I'll be covering some of the basic combat mechanics. I'll try to go a little bit more in-depth than the actual in-game tutorial, but aside from that, I think I came up with a name for the series. What do you guys think of Excal's Extraordinary Explanations, or Triple X for short? Isn't that right, Eve?
But of course! Leave it to me.
Fantastic, let's get started. So let's take a look at the battle UI first. In the center of the screen you have the target option, which obviously lets you switch targets. Then in the bottom left you have the HP as well as the character icons and their rush gauge and the buffs that they have currently. And then in the bottom right you have the AP stat as well as all of your battle skills. And then if you take a look at the enemy, you can see their HP bar is like really tiny on top of them. You also have the big HP bar, but the tiny one is important because above the tiny one you can see a word that says long, and that's the range at which I'm standing as opposed to the boss. So if I move in, I'm standing at short range, now I'm long range, and certain battle skills depend on they have an optimal range at which they can be used. Like this attack, for instance, Gravity Bullet, that's a close range attack, whereas this one, Crimson Squall, that's a long range attack. And normal attacks also, they also differ depending on what range you're standing at, but that depends on the character. So if I'm playing Maria and I'm standing at this range and I use a normal attack, it's the gun, and if I'm standing at close range and I do a normal attack, she does melee attacks, and those suck. But that's pretty much it for the ranges. And then back to AP. So in the bottom right you have the AP stat, which right now it's filled up to 100. If I perform an action like dashing, like so, or if I use a battle skill that uses AP, and I can recover AP by standing still. So right now my AP is at that. Stand still, it goes up, or I can recover it by using normal attacks. So a normal attack, and you can see it goes up by a tiny amount. Other characters might have better AP recovery on normals. Maria's AP recovery kind of sucks, so for her it's a lot better to just stand still. But aside from that, let's get into basic movements. So if you put your thumb on the screen and then just move it around, you get a virtual pad that you can use to move around, and you can use that to close in on your enemies. You can use it to avoid attacks as well. And then aside from walking, you also have a thing that I like to call dashing. It's when you flick your thumb across the screen like that, and then you get some blue aura around you, and that basically means that you can move at super high speeds and you're invulnerable to damage while you have the blue aura surrounding you. But if you take a look at the bottom right corner, whenever I dash, you can see that my AP goes down by 20. And yeah, that kind of sucks. But you don't always need 20 AP to dash, because right now you can see that I have 1 AP and I can still dash. So as long as you have more than 1 AP, you can dash. And I already said that dash makes you invulnerable to attacks. So this is like your best tool for avoiding damage, basically. But there is another thing that you can use to I guess mitigate the amount of damage you take, and that's guarding. So right now you saw like a blue barrier appear in front of me. Let me see if I can show it off with this. Yeah, right there, you saw it. That was the blue barrier, and I took 191 points of damage. But that was a guard, and that basically happens when you're standing in front of an attack and you are not performing an action yourself. And for the purposes of this example, let's say an action is either a dash or a battle skill like that, or a normal attack. That's also an action. So as long as you're just running around and you're facing the attack, you can guard and attack. And depending on what your guard stat is, the amount of damage you take from the guard will vary. And I'll get into the guard stat in my next beginner's guide. But as you would guess, dashing is a lot better when it comes to avoiding damage than guarding. Especially because guarding is a tiny bit unreliable. You really need to get into like the right position if you want to guard. But there are certain characters that have like high enough guard stats to the point where they can completely nullify damage by guarding. So if you're playing as one of those characters, then that's pretty good. But right there you saw I took a lot of damage from just guarding it, so that was pretty bad. And before we move on to the offensive options, there's something else that I forgot to say. If you look at the range indicator, right now it says long. If you look next to that, you can see a green arrow. Right now it's red. That basically means that, that's the enemy's targeting indicator. Right now it's yellow. And the three colors, red, green, yellow, they all mean different things. Green means that the enemy is not doing any type of attack. Yellow means that they are doing an attack, but they're not targeting me. And red means that they are targeting me. So if I switch to A2, it's still like that. Green, and there it is. Red means they're targeting me. So if I switch back to Maria, it's yellow again. So that's it for the targeting indicator. Alright, first up we have the normal attack, which is like every character's main type of attacking. If you just tap the screen, you get your normal attack. It doesn't cost any AP. In fact, it even recovers AP. And because of that reason, it's fantastic for opening your combos. So speaking of combos, you can do combos with your battle skills that you can see in the bottom right hand corner. Every character has 4 battle skills right now, and you can only equip 3 of them in battle, so pick the ones that best suit your playstyle. I can't talk. Let's see, every battle skill has its optimal range. So if I'm standing at this range and I use Gravity Bullet, then Maria is going to move into that close range to use it, or if I'm standing in close range and I tap Crimson Squall, she moves into long range. But as you saw, moving into those ranges is very slow, so there is a way to speed it up, and that's called a Charge Assault. If I tap and hold the button, you can see that it's the skill is flickering green. So if I let go in just a second, she dashes into the appropriate range where she can use the skill. So from a longer distance, she dashes into that range, and that's pretty good for repositioning. Unfortunately, there is a downside to it, and that is the fact that if you get hit while you're dashing like that, the enemy is guaranteed to get a critical hit on you. So let's see if I can position myself to show this off. I don't think I can. Crushing charge. No, never mind. Well, just take it from me, the enemy is guaranteed to take a critical hit on you, and that kind of sucks because it does a lot of damage. So you can use a Charge Assault to reposition yourself, but make sure that you know how and when you should use them. So now let's get into the actual combos. You can combo through the use of cancel bonuses. So the way the cancel bonus works is if you use a battle skill, and then while the animation is happening, you tap on another battle skill, then you can see a cancel bonus pop up. I fucked that up. Let's do that again. Cancel bonus, so I use an attack, then I tap on another one of my skills, tap on another one, and then I tap on the last one, and then you can see cancel bonus is at 300%. So 300% is the maximum amount of cancel bonus that you get, and the cancel bonus is a multiplier of sorts. It just multiplies your damage by that number that you see on screen. And as I was talking about as I said, the normal attack is a great combo opener. You can use a normal attack into a battle skill, and then you can see the cancel bonus is already at 150%, then it goes 200, 300, and then I can use another one of my skills, and right there you saw that it stayed at 300. So that's the cap. And I think I already said that you have to do different skills to build the cancel bonus. Like, you can't just keep spamming the same skill and then build the cancel bonus. They have to be different skills. And another thing about that is that you also can't use the normal attack in the middle of the combo to build the cancel bonus. So I can't do that and then tap the screen to get my normal attack. That just outright cancels it. So they need to be different skills, like unique skills. So I can do Crimson Squall. I can use Crimson Squall twice in the combo, but there has to be another skill in between. And that's it for cancel bonus. So the only other thing that we have to take a look at now is the rush. And the rush, that's the character's strongest attack. So just tap the rush button in the bottom left corner once your rush gauge is full, and then you can use your rush combo attack like that. That did 107,000. That's a lot of damage. The rush combo also works in the same way as normal cancel bonuses work. So if I rush like that, we have a 3 rush combo now, which means the first person in the chain gets just a regular 100% multiplier to their damage, which is no multiplier. The second person gets a 150% multiplier to their damage, or their rush damage. And then the third person gets a 200% multiplier, and the last person gets a 300% multiplier. So make sure that you always have the strongest person rushing last. So right now you can see that Maria's character portrait has stopped glowing, whereas the other ones are still glowing, which means that they can use their rush. So the way to build up your rush is just by attacking the enemy. You can see that my rush gauge is slowly going up. You can see like a little blue bar on my character portrait. And depending on what skill you're using, it goes up quicker. Like if I use Crimson Squall, you can see that it goes up by a lot. And there is another thing that determines how quickly you can build rush through the use of your battle skills, and that is the rush gauge bonus. The rush gauge bonus is dependent on the hit count. So right there we crossed 50 hits, which made the rush count, the rush gauge bonus reach 140. We just crossed 100, which made it reach 195, and so on and so forth until it reaches 260%, which is the maximum for the rush gauge bonus. And once it reaches 260%, you get a huge increase in the amount of rush you gain from your attacks. So ideally you want to build up that rush gauge bonus and then spam your strongest skill, because usually your strongest skill has the best rush gain. That's kind of the rule of thumb. So once you build up that rush gauge bonus and you still don't have your rush, just spam your strongest skill and then you'll get it very quickly. But keep in mind that that also kind of kills your damage output, so you need to find like a good balance in between building rush and doing damage. And another thing about the rush gauge bonus is that, as you've been seeing continuously, is that we're dropping the hit count, which means that we're also dropping the rush gauge bonus. It's a bit more complicated than that, but I'm not going to get into that right now. You can also cancel that rush gauge bonus by just rushing. So I just rushed there, and that cancels the hit count, which means it also cancels the rush gauge bonus. So you can see it's sitting at a mighty 0 now. So if you have a character that has some good rush gain, they can use. If you have a character that, you know, gets their rush quicker than other characters, and you feel like spamming your rush, you might want to rethink that idea, because you're also hurting other players by doing that. But aside from that, I think that's about everything for. I think that's all of like the basic battle mechanics. I missed some stuff like element burst stun, for instance. I'm saving that for another video, because I feel like I can't really cover all of the element burst stun mechanics here, and all of the other mechanics like this one, for instance. You can do that and then you can cancel it like that. That was pretty cool. I like that. But I'll get into that in a later video, like an advanced combat guide, I guess. But for now, I think my next beginner's guide is going to be like a stat screen guide. I'll go over all of those stats and status ailments, and I guess the talents as well. So if you're interested in those, make sure you stick around. But I guess for now, peace!